Well, hello again, all you people out there in YouTube land. This is the NRA Man Forever. And today we're going to do a little cleaning video again. This time it's going to be on my Maverick Model 88 12 gauge pump shotgun. I got this shotgun for Christmas one year, I believe. No, it was my birthday. I got this shotgun when I was 14 years old. It's a Mossberg, it's a Maverick Model 88 shotgun. It's got a 28-inch barrel with full vent rib. It's got a mid bead right here, and your regular old white dot bead up here. And I've killed many a dove, many a duck, and many a turkey and squirrel and small game with this shotgun. Now, it is empty. I'll show you the action. If you can see it, it's empty. So we're gonna take it apart and we're gonna clean it. All right, let's have some fun. All right. As I stated in my cleaning video for my Marlin 60, first thing you need is a flat, clean surface. And and you can get to taking the gun apart. Take this gun apart. You have this right here on the end of the magazine tube. You're going to unscrew this. And simply pull it out. That's it. Set your barrel somewhere where you know it's going to be safe, where it ain't going to fall and get nicked or bent or anything like that. Then you can proceed to taking the actual action assemblies out. Now, I'm sorry about the lighting in here. This is the only real suitable place I can do this for now. First thing you're going to do, there's a pin right here. And I know you can't hardly see it worth a damn. Right there, that little pin, right there. It is a push pin. You're going to take something and just push it out. So I'm going to use this gun cleaning, this piece of rod right here from a gun cleaning kit. Push it out, and then once you have it loose, it just slides right out. Stick it somewhere you know you ain't going to lose it. Once you've got that done, your trigger assembly, along with your sear and your hammer, they're going to come right on out. Also included in this is your slide lock, your slide release, which is that right there. I always let off the hammer so that there's no spring tension, or there's no tension on the spring. Alright. Set that aside. Then you are going to push. Then you're going to take out the little claws right here. They fit into the side of the receiver in little channels here. And again, I'm sorry for the lighting. They fit in little channels in here. And there's another one on this side right here. Those are the claws that hold your shells in place in the magazine tube. With those out of the way, now you are going to slide the action back until you can get this little block right here out. Set it aside. The next thing you're going to do, just slide off the forearm. Then after that, you push your bolt forward a little bit. And then your loading ramp, your feed ramp, you're going to take that, squeeze it, and it'll come out. It's got two little pins, two little nipples right there that engage, and two small holes. These two holes right here, there's another one on the other side directly across from it. That's where those little nipples go in. And then you're just going to bring your bolt back, and it'll lift out when you get it in the right spot. And you have successfully stripped the receiver. There's nothing left in here. Now, there's several ways you can go around doing this. I like to knock loose the crap that's stuck in there, that's caked on, all the fouling and the unburnt powder residue and whatnot. And you got to be careful so as you don't get bristles from your brush stuck in there. And if you do, just get them, pull them out. And again, all you're doing is you're just knocking stuff loose. That's it. Just running the brush up and down the sides of it, knocking it loose. That way it's easier to pick up. And you're getting every little area on this shotgun receiver. This isn't going to clean it. This is just, again, making it so stuff comes off easier. Make sure you get in there where the barrel sits into the action. Alright. Now, we're going to take them gun cleaning wipes that I'm so fond of. Take it, break one off, set that aside, and just start wiping it down. And I know there's people out there going, well, why you need to clean it? It's a shotgun. It's not as, doesn't have as close a tolerance as a rifle or a pistol or anything like that. It'll still feed dirty. Yeah, when this thing gets dirty, it starts having ejection problems. Those spent holes from the shotgun shells have a fun habit of just sticking in the chamber instead of coming out like they're supposed to. Now you got to make good and damn sure that you get these little grooves and channels in here that everything slides in, because otherwise you're missing where the vast majority of all your dirt and all your grit is getting stuck at, and you're not really doing anything but just making the gun a little less dirty. You're not cleaning it. And just keep at it till you don't see any more shit on these little wipes. That's nasty. Now you don't really and truly honestly have to get in here in the receiver where the barrel locks in, because the shell doesn't really, no part of the shell really touches that, but there's very few things I'm very, anal about. The cleanliness of my firearms is one of those. So, and like I said, you just keep on going and keep on going and keep on going until you just stop getting stuff on the wipes. And we'll come back in a minute. Now that you've got that done, you've cleaned and you've cleaned and you've cleaned and you've wiped down till there's nothing left coming out on the rags. Now you are going to wipe down the magazine tube, the exterior of the tube. And this serves three purposes. Number one, it cleans it. Number two, it helps protect it from dew and rust and dirt and all that other stuff. And number three, it lubricates where the forearm, there's the cleaning part, lubricates where the forearm on the magazine contacts the magazine tube. And then you just keep doing it again until nothing comes off onto the rags. Alright, now that we've got this cleaned and lubricated and protected, we're going to set this action assembly aside. Next up is the forearm. And we're going to do pretty much the same thing. Just wipe it down, clean it off. We'll get the action bars first. Make sure they're good and clean, because they get a fair amount of unburnt powder residue and dirt and crud on them from the fact they're inside of the action and actually right there by the firing, right there by the bolt, pretty much the entire time. And I'm not one of those guys that believes in babying synthetic stocks. I don't wipe down my synthetic stocks like I do my my wood stocks, because, I mean, come on guys, it's plastic, it doesn't need it. Every piece of metal in here, pretty much all your moving parts on this is going to be metal. If it's plastic, it's not a real moving part, it's just basically a place for your hand to rest. It doesn't need to be wiped down if it's plastic. And again, you just get every single part of this you can reach. And keep going till you're done. Alright, next up is your feed ramp. When the action works, this part slides down, grabs a shell that's been dumped from the magazine. The shell lands right here, and when you close the action, it lifts up and it shoves that shell in front of the bolt to get put into the to get inserted into the magazine. So take it, just wipe it off. Again, until there's nothing left coming off onto the wipe. And keep going and keep doing this until nothing comes off onto the wipe. Next is your bolt. Now, as soon as this is done, this is going right back into the action. Or right back into the receiver, I should say. You'll take it and wipe it all down. Same thing, nothing different. And get as much of this crap off as you can with the wipe. And then you keep on going until there's nothing left to come out. And now your bolt is clean. You're going to take it, pick up the assembly, slide it in, same exact place where you took it out. And there's a spot in there where it will lock in, where it'll stay still. Then you're going to take your feed ramp, make sure it's facing this way. You got the gun this way, you need the feed ramp this way. These claws need to face up. Slide your bolt partially forward. Just enough to where you can get those ramps and those ramp nipples in there and engaged. And there you go. Put it down, leave it up however you want to, and then you bring that, put it down, and then you bring this bolt back almost completely to the spot where you can pop it out. Set that back aside. Next is going to be this little block right here. This block locks in the action bars right here, like such, and this right here slips inside of the underside of that bolt. These little curves right here, they engage that feed ramp, that loading ramp. They're what make the loading ramp go up and down. Clean it, wipe it off, knock all the shit off. And it's important that you make a continuous effort to keep up with, for new gun owners out there that may be watching this, it's important that you keep your guns clean. Because so long as you keep them clean, the better they'll run for you. The better they'll run for you, the more reliable they are for you. And depending on what you use your gun for, your shotgun for, some people may use theirs for self-defense. Some may use them for nothing but, trapping, skeet shooting. Some may use them for competitions, strictly for hunting, what have you. Depending on what you need it for. Regardless of what it's for, it needs to work reliably and it needs to work safely. And the only way your shotgun is going to work safely, any firearm for that matter, not just shotguns, is if they're clean and they're kept clean. Now, will shotguns work if you neglect them a little bit as far as cleaning goes? Yeah, they're a lot more forgiving than almost any rifle out there. They're damn sure more forgiving than any semi-automatic pistol. But it's imperative. You cannot slack on that cleanliness. These guns got to be kept clean, just like you can't leave your car dirty all the time and expect the paint to stay shiny. Alright, we're good to go on this. We're going to take this and slip it in there. There's a little channel in here where this will fall right in. And then you're going to line it up as best as you can. With that bolt. Like I said, there's a little channel in there where it slips in. There it is. There's a little channel in there where it slips in. This is locked. It ain't going nowhere. If I move it back, you see there? That little silver part that came up? That's your feed ramp. It's engaged. It's locked in. It's where it's supposed to be. Now, very carefully, slide it up. Just a little. And then you're going to take it out, because that's all you really put it in there for, is to make sure it was lined up properly. You're going to take your forearm. Gun is orientated like this. Forearm will be orientated like this. The little slots that lock in will be facing the roof or the sky, depending on where you're doing this at. You just slide it on to the tube of the magazine and make sure these little action bars are lined up with the holes, because they do move around a little bit. And then make sure they don't catch on any of those channels in there, and I know you can't really hardly see it. And then just slide it on back. Then you can take your little block here, slip it in until it locks on those bars. And then once it locks on those bars, you can move it up forward, and there it is. It's in place. Now, leave it downward for now. That way nothing falls out. Next thing is going to be them little claws that hold everything in place. Wipe down, get all the crud off. These ones, for whatever reason, they're not really going to have a whole lot of stuff on them, but you got to wipe them down. Now there's two of them, and they're different. You got this one right here. It's got this little deal right here, and it's got this little stud right there. That stud fits into a hole in the side of the receiver. The other one is flat for the most part and has no studs that line up with the holes on the receiver. Fit them into the appropriate place. It's extremely hard to get these confused. Alright, pretty much every other slot in there is taken up by something. So, we're going to get it. Put this back forward a little bit. Not all the way, because that bolt will lock in place. And this one goes right here on the same side as the ejection port. You can see the hole that it goes in right here. There's that hole. Take it, put it in, find the hole, and line it up. And once it's lined up, it'll pop right in, and it ain't going to go in wrong, I promise you. Now this is going to sit just like this, since that's in there and there's nothing holding it in other than gravity at this point. You're going to take this other one and do the same thing. Wipe it off, wipe it down, get all the crud off of it, and then it goes on the opposite side down low. And again, it's hard to mess it up. Every other slot in there is occupied. It just pops right in. And then finally, you got the trigger. I'll put that back in a minute. Finally, you got the trigger assembly. Wipe it off, wipe off the hammer. And that's it. Alright. Now you're going to stick your trigger and hammer assembly in here. It's got a couple little tabs in there, right there, where it just hooks in and swings up. So you're going to get it right here, right there. Get both those little tabs to engage, and just swing it up in. And you're going to get your pin. Line up that hole. Push it in, and you're good, son. The only thing left to do is wipe down the barrel and clean the barrel. So we'll be right back. Alright, this is the barrel. This is the part the bullets come out of. You're going to take it, one of these wipes, shove it down in there a little bit. Screw together a couple of these rods so where it's long enough to go down in there. Almost done. And push this right on down through, basically. And what it does is it gets that barrel nice and oily and lubricated, Then you're going to take your wire brush, put it on the end of the ramrod, take it down in there, knock loose that unburnt powder residue and whatnot all the way through. Because the problem with this gun is when it gets dirty and it needs to be cleaned, the chamber, the shells stick in the chamber. So just get it all the way through. Really hit that chamber hard, and come on out with it. Then you're going to take another wipe, or you can reuse the same one. It doesn't make a difference really. And stuff it back in there, in the end of the muzzle. Get as nice and tight as you possibly can, and then shove it back through again. And what that's going to do is it's going to collect some of that stuff that you knocked loose. Then you take the soft brush, put it on your ramrod, run it through and collect up all the rest of it. Do it 2 or 3 times, or however many you want to. But the only thing you're really worried about is getting that chamber cleaned out. Now the barrel's clean, I can set this aside. Next to last thing is going to be wiping down the barrel. You'll take one of them wipes and just get everything. Every piece of metal, this whole barrel, including the vent rib, needs to be wiped down. And again, this protects it from rust, helps keep the gun looking pretty. Wipe it all down. Then, now it's wiped down and cleaned, and the bore's clean, you're going to take it, you're going to reassemble it. You put it, slide it in place, and line it up as best you can. And then, what you're going to do is hit the slide release right here. So unlock it. Hold it up top. There you go. And it'll push down into place, and then you just rescrew it. Finger tight only. And now, the shotgun's clean, functions flawlessly, and smooth as a baby's ass. It's NRA man forever. United we stand, divided we fall.